One wonders where Governor Yafashi gets his information when the acting president says the president is okay. But we see how these all play out. We do hope at some point we'll hear the president and know the status of his health. Well, let's get some thoughts on this one. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Dafe Akpedeye, joins us from London to give us perspective legally, of course, on what is happening. This is the first time the acting president will be visiting his principal in London since he left over 60 days ago. And Mr. Fayose has disagreed on the state of health of the president. What should we believe on this one, Mr. Akpedeye? But as it stands now, a lot of people, some people have even said they're going to court to ask the Senate to find out or to make the cabinet, so the acting president and the president, to tell Nigerians the status of his health. Legally speaking, is the president bound to come out to talk about the state of his health?
There are many divides in this argument. Like you rightly pointed out, Mr. President, it was 7 days. That's a long time for the populace of Nigeria not to know exactly what's happening to him. But strictly speaking, the Constitution does not impose upon him a reason to tell people the state of his health. But having risen to the post of being #1 citizen of the country, and you wish to lead the people, you owe them a duty and a responsibility to let them know how you're feeling, how exactly you are, whether you can still carry the mantle of leadership. To that extent, yes. But legally, there's no point of no place in the Constitution which says that he must disclose the source of health or what's wrong with him.
Do you believe the acting president? He did say the president is well, but the governor of Ekiti says that he does not believe. Do you think that what can you make of that scenario, though?
Well, there's a lot of arguments one way or the other, a lot of divide as to what you think of the state of one's health. It's really personal. But if Mr. Acting President says that I was in London, and we all know that he jetted out of London, he should have been back by now. And you actually interviewed him, and he says that, look, I saw Mr. President, and Mr. President is looking well, his hale and heart is about to come. I think what behoves on all this, and what makes it very difficult, is perhaps the secrecy with which they've kept away Mr. President's health from the general populace. So it leaves a lot of room for speculation, and so you allow also the people to jump in. And that's why Fayose has seen this opening and saying that the man is not well. If he's well and is hale and hearty, let him show himself to Nigerians. So he leaves room to speculation, and that makes it very doubtful for what anybody says as to the state of health. But having said that, I see no reason why we should not believe the acting president, who we consider a very great man of integrity, as to why when he says that I saw Mr. President and he's well and hearty.
Well, Mr. Akpedeye, is it enough, just quickly if you tell us, is it enough grounds to ask the president to resign or to step aside like he just asked?
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer, and I'll tell you why. If Mr. President, and this because, truly speaking, there's no constitution, the provision of the Constitution which says he must step aside must be initiated by his own cabinet. And that's where you have a grave concern, because it's like being a judge in your own cause. The man appointed every member of that cabinet. The Constitution did not create a position where some other person can initiate that process. So the cabinet which he has appointed initiates that process, it becomes very difficult for him to do otherwise. Mind you, this is the second time around. We had the same old process during the Yar'Adua saga until he died. Now, the challenge we have is that because we don't know the true state of his health, and because we think he has a moral obligation to tell us the state of health, people are going to keep speculating that if you can't tell us, then what you are suffering from is grave. You can't go on with the mantle of leadership. So that these speculations and this urging for him to resign, and that's when people like Mr. Fayose comes in very well to say their own part of the bit. Right. But having said that, let's see what behoves in the next couple of days. The acting president says well and hearty, and that the lion will be coming home soon.
All right. So we hope the Lion King comes home soon. You're also in London. Maybe you're there to visit the president. But stay with us. We'll come back to you soon. We have some knotty issues, some legal implications also. Let's get into another main issue of the day. Today, the Supreme Court dealt a great blow, or a huge one, to the Senator Alimadu Sharif group of the PDP, as the panel unanimously ruled against his faction to affirm the Senator Makarfi caretaker committee as the authentic leadership of the party. And if you have been following this developing story and lost track at some point of the history of all these issues, well, here are a few details of to draw you in. The party crisis is not new and is never ending, but the legal tussle in this particular case started between both leaders, or factions if you like, with a ruling of a Federal High Court in Lagos on May 17, 2016. In that ruling, the Federal High Court in Lagos gave an order restraining the PDP from conducting election into some national offices at the National Convention scheduled to be held that month. On 21st of May, the PDP received a different judgment from another Federal High Court in Port Harcourt, allowing the convention to hold as scheduled. This conflicting court judgment did not only divide the party, it also rocked the unsteady ship more, making the PDP, which prides itself as the biggest party in Africa, lose members. The party did not only lose party members, they lost Edo and even the Ondo governorship elections. On the 15th of August, Justice Okonabang of the Federal High Court, Abuja Division, gave an order suspending a planned national convention of the PDP on the 17th of August. After a lot of back and forth, the Sheriff faction approached the appeal court in Port Harcourt to contest a decision of the court which affirmed the emergence of Makarfi as the authentic leader of the PDP during the May 21 convention of the party. Again, on the 17th of February, the Port Harcourt Division of the Appeal Court overturned the decision of the lower court. Then, the Makarfi-led faction approached the Supreme Court, and today, July the 12th, 2017, the Supreme Court declared Makarfi as a legitimate and the authentic chairman of the People's Democratic Party, and of course, well, in caretaker committee. Well, let's get perspectives to this matter. Let's get talking. Joining me from our Abuja studio is the former director of media of the Jonathan Campaign Organization at the 2015 presidential election and a former minister of aviation, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode, joins us from our Abuja studio. Many thanks for coming on the program this evening, Mr. Fani-Kayode. This judgment of today, what does it portend for the People's Democratic Party? Did you see this coming?
Well, I'm a true believer, and I had always assumed that what we saw today would eventually happen. It was just a question of time. So manifest an injustice was done to our party by the imposition of those that were imposed on us. It was so manifest, it was so obviously wrong, it was so obviously unacceptable to the extent that 95% of the membership rejected it right at the outset, and it was just a question of time before justice was done. And I'm delighted that the Supreme Court of Nigeria had the courage to actually do the right thing and literally save democracy in our country today.
Interesting scenario that has played out, and the trouble that the party has been for 2 years now. The party has not been able to get itself back. The bloody nose it got into 2015 election is still not been able to stand its feet to fight, to do the opposition role in Nigeria. But as it stands now, some people say no victor, no vanquish. That's the situation. Does it look like that? Do you think that the Makarfi caretaker committee can work with the Senator Alimadu Sheriff group?
Well, that's a question you ought to put to them rather than to me. But being a leading member of the party, I think that really is the right way to go. I mean, we need to all work together. We need to bring ourselves together in order to ensure that we're in a position to kick the APC federal government out of power. And you spoke about being given a bloody nose when you were speaking just now. Well, the nose wasn't really that bloody, simply because we managed to remain united, regardless of the fact that moles were sent into our party to divide us and destroy us. We survived all that. And millions of people are rejoicing in the streets today that justice has been done, and the PDP is back. We won an election in Oshu a few days ago. We're doing exceptionally well. The fact that we managed to stay together despite the challenges that we faced, despite the fact that we had a mole running our party for a very long time, and we survived all that. So we're back, we're kicking, and we will kick out the APC federal government in 2019.
Did you foresee this judgment coming in this manner? We understand that some leaders of your party were already celebrating this judgment even from yesterday.
Well, that probably goes to both sides, because I know those that led only 5% of our party were busily and boastfully telling the whole world that they had already won this case and that they would win and they would continue to win. And you need to understand that those on our side that were rejoicing were probably placing their faith in the fact that God is a God that is alive and will never forsake his own, no matter what the case might be. And at the end, justice will be done, and justice was done. We anticipated this. It was just a question of time. And let me also tell you this. It wasn't just a question of a struggle for party leadership. What it was, I repeat, was an imposition by the federal government of forces that were working for the federal government to lead our party and to destroy our party from within, so that by 2019, there would be no opposition. The APC government is terrified of a free and fair election at the federal level in 2019. They know they have no hope of coming back. They know they've torn this country apart over the last 2 years. They know that they have divided us as we've never been divided before, and they know that their Waterloo is approaching as each day passes. They're a government of, this is a government of propaganda. It's run by propaganda, lies and propaganda day after day. And I'm not surprised that my brother and friend, Governor Fayose, disputed the account of the former, of the acting president about what's going on in London. I wholeheartedly agree with him. You can't believe anything this government tells you. Come 2019, they are going to be out because the PDP is united again. We're back together. And yes, we will reach out to all the others in the 5%, those that want to join us, those that are not moles. And I know that's what Makarfi will do. That's what we've all agreed to do. We welcome them back home. And those that have decamped to the other side, say, come back home and let's kick these people out. They've ruined Nigeria, and we need to put Nigeria back on track.
All right, we'll take a short break. But when we return, more on the PDP future, on the Makarfi leadership, we get some other perspectives. Mr. Fani-Kayode is still with us. Mr. Okolugbo is with us in Lagos. And Mr. Dafe Akpedeye is in London with us. What an interesting day. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back.